Okay, hello again. This is Monkey, and this is Planet Explorers. Again, if you watched the other video, I kind of went on and on about how fun it is and all that stuff. It's really, really, really fun. And now that I've had a chance to play with the build mode, which this is the same build mode that's available in game, so you can basically make stuff with out of game, just make a bunch of ISOs that you can pull from while you're in game, or you can build this stuff while you're in the game as well, actively. A little easier to do it in game because the parts for things like you'll know better what you can afford. But yeah, it's actually very very well done, and I figure I would just give you guys a run through on how to make something. I haven't made any weapons yet. I was going to mess around with that this week, but I guess we'll just make a real quick car. So basically, you go to create carrier vehicle. I'm going to make a small one. So when you right click, you can move your floor around. If you press F while your cursor is anywhere, you'll adjust your field of your frame rate or frame of reference. Sorry. So this way your view will center off of a different point. So if you want to focus over here and do some stuff, and then go back to the center, it's actually really kind of cool the way they've done everything. So basically you have layers you're going to be working with. You're working in a three-dimensional space, so of course you have the floor and then four sides and the vertical space here. So this has little coordinates, so you've got your y coordinates here. That way you can gauge the height of things. What I suggest doing when you're building a car, though, is because at least at this point, or I haven't found it, and I've spent a lot of time looking for it, I don't see like a resize. So when I put this wheel down, like I can rotate it. Well, you can't really rotate wheels, but basically you have left to right, which is the side of the car it's on. So that's going to be right, and it's in the front, so I'm going to make it a steering tire. So that'll steer. And this way, now I know where the axle's going to be, so I can now put my thing right there. So this way I can connect to the tires and stuff really easily, and then you can decide where you want the floor of the car to be. I suggest giving yourself a little bit of clearance because the game is voxels, so there's not a lot of flat areas, and you can get stuck like a teeter-totter, and it's a pain in the butt when you have to pick up and then place your car every time you get stuck, because I made a tricycle that does that. So one thing I have noticed when putting the wheels down, you might as well just leave this on the ground, because I like symmetry, so everything like kind of has to match and line up and whatnot, and it's easier to do it when your grid's on the ground. But I'm just going to throw these things in here and just show you how to get an operational car. So I've got four tires. These are all looking generally right. We'll flip that around, apply that, make this a steering tire, and we'll apply that. Okay, so now I need to connect the wheels, basically make a frame. So you go from parts to materials, and I'm going to do it out of aluminum because I know where aluminum is on my map. I've found the Steam forums are really great, single-player wise, for finding stuff. If you just post in the Steam forums, like, where's the aluminum, people will answer you. But I've already posted that, so just look at mine. And people have answered me and told me, like, dead-on coordinates of where all the goodies are. So as you can see, I adjusted my my view there, and I'm going to click once and drag, but I'm going through the wheel, so I'm going to right click to cancel. So let's go here. And usually I don't do this. I like actually do the whole frame, as far as like, individual, make it a little more like a car frame. But once I've clicked and dragged, I can also raise it once I've released to make, too deep or whatever. But I'm just going to go like that to accept it, because my field of view didn't really allow for it. And I'm going to come back up here and do that. So now I have the floor. Usually what I like to do, because I'm a little kind of weird, is everything has to connect. Everything must be kosher. Everything must fit. I don't know why I said kosher, but anyways, we have here and then here. Okay, so we've got the floor. We've got our steering tires. So we're going to come back to parts. And usually what I do is I just place it into the metal, but just for the video, I'm going to put it right there. So basically I've placed the plane right at the top of my frame. So when I put the vehicle cockpit in here, it's got to be even, it has to be straight. There we go. And then the engine, vehicle engine type 1 right here. Right there. And let's see here, that looks relatively connected. I think there's a fuel cell we need in here too. Fuel cells place like in the center of the object. It's kind of weird. But I'll just put this here and then see how that's off right there? Okay, so if you have it selected like that with the little arrows, it'll give you the ability to drag vertically in all directions. If you need to rotate it, you can just click here and a little rotate thing comes up and you can rotate it in, the 4 directions along each axis. Over here you have statistics, tells you about the part and the build. So this is how much aluminum, cockpit, all the parts I would need to make this build. Now there's some other stuff that's pretty cool. I didn't do a lot of framing on this, so when I go to paint it, it's just a slab. But what's pretty cool is some of the tools over here, and I'll show them to you on the frame. If you make a mistake and you need to delete some of this stuff, if you hit this arrow right here, you can select, and then if you're on your inspector, you can delete. You can do whatever with this section. If you hold Shift, it does allow you to add more sections. And if you Alt, you could subtract from the section. This is nice and handy if you just want to do a solid plate and then select it all and subtract the areas you just want to delete to hollow it out cosmetically or whatever you want to do. The selection tool is really handy. Remembering your Alt and Shift adds, Alt subtracts, but if you have a selection and you press Shift, it says add. If you press Alt, it says subtract. So they've kind of thought of you there as well. But basically, same thing when you're painting. You're dealing with that. You can come over and do an erase and erase it back down to, I guess this would be surface. And then there's an airbrush where I can kind of airbrush whatever I want on here. Or if I want, I can like do a selection and then we'll subtract and then we'll add and then we'll subtract. So I've selected that and now I can like blue. I like blue. Blue is pretty. So we fill color and I have made that. So now if I go back to my build, I can see, let's see here, maybe if we go to, yes, there we go. So this is the car I just made. So that would function. You can throw, you can start chucking some guns around, but the guns are very big. And at the moment, we don't really have a resize. So if I throw that there, I could connect it and all that stuff and it would work. But the thing is, yeah, let's see here. If I select it, there's no resize. So I can't shrink it, which would be really cool to be able to shrink that to like half size. Give us a 50% shrink, and that would be really, really cool of you, and I would love you forever if you guys just gave me the ability to shrink the guns. Not tiny. I don't want to make tiny guns with huge bullets, but I would like to make medium-sized guns with huge bullets, or medium-sized guns and scale the rounds to them, but I don't know how difficult that would be, and I'm probably just being nitpicky. But that is how you construct things. You can construct weapons, and the parts for weapons are like the hilt, so the hilt's at the bottom. and you build the blade up from there. All these different materials right here, I'm sure mean something to the damage. I don't know, but iron is good for weapons and diamond and stuff. So you could make your weapons guns. You need the trigger and the grip and the muzzle, which is basically the barrel, and then you can build out from there using this same type of thing. So I am gonna show you. Let's see here. I have, let's see, I'll show you guys the Peace Shuttle. This is the Peace Shuttle I built for peaceful negotiation missions. We'll call this one Car 2, because it's a Car 2. So this is the Peace Shuttle right here. So the Peace Shuttle has 2 massive rocket launchers, but it is a shuttle. I can fit 5 people, 4 passengers, and myself. I put the nice Planet Explorers logo in the back there so they know who's coming to negotiate. I invented the tricopter as well. Tricopter is pretty cool. I haven't really messed around with painting to get those lines smoother, but I'm sure it's just the way I'm building the aluminum framing that's not providing me with smooth lines. But yeah, so these are some builds. When I build some weapons, I'll post some stuff if I find out some interesting information about how the materials affect weapon damage, stuff like that. And in the meantime, happy hunting. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and follow. Thank you.